Okay, we're back for day 2. And I know you're excited in that. We're just focusing on volume, so this should be a little bit easier. Remember, we had 2 steps. Find the bottom layer, 1 centimeter, 1 inch, 1 foot thick. Okay, so find the area, multiply it by 1, and then multiply it by the height to get the total. So let's move on. I have an awesome layered cake here. Okay, for lesson 923, day 2. And of course, we have the bad dad joke. Why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil? Because it's pointless. That's a good math joke, because we use pencil, not pen. All right, here we go. So let's try to find the volume of this figure right here. Okay, so again, walk you through it. Step 1, give me the bottom layer. Now, here's the problem. If we find just this bottom layer and go up, notice how this part's cut out? It's not going to be the same all the way up. So we've got to tilt this figure so that when we go up, it's the same all the way from the top to the bottom. So this part right here that's facing us, I want to just make that the bottom. So I want to flop it toward you. So this would be the bottom, and then this part over here is going to be the top, and this will be my height from here to here. So we're going to flop it, because what we want to do is we want it going up to all be the same from that bottom layer. Okay, so if this is my bottom layer, this is the area that I want to find right here. So I'm going to cut it a little piece off right there. I know that this whole side is 22. And since this is 6 right here, that means what I have left over here is 16. And this is 20. And then this is 5. So all the way across is 25. So for this area right here, I need 16 quarters. Well, 4 quarters is $1. So 16 quarters is going to be how much? Take a second, figure it out. Yep, so you should have gotten for that first part, we have 25 times 16, and you should have gotten 400. Now we need this little square, which we already know is 5, and then times 6, which is 30. We add those two together. Okay, so you have 430 feet cubed. So that's this bottom layer. Now remember, I didn't put it in here, but, so we have this plus this is 430, and then you're multiplying this by 1, because we want it 1 foot thick. Okay, so for step 1, my bottom layer is 430 feet cubed. Because this 1 times this is still going to be this. So let's make that squared so we're not confusing you. So we took the bottom area, this flat piece, multiplied it by 1 thick, and we got 430 feet cubed. Now the second step is, how tall is this thing then? Can somebody tell me how tall it is? Yep, it's right here. It's 8 feet tall. So we're going to take that 430 and multiply it by 8. I'll give you a second to get on your calculator. Oh, thank you, Danielle, for raising your hand. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Danielle sits right over there. And there, she raised her hand. That's a good thing. So Danielle, what did you get? You got 3,440 feet cubed. Did I hear you right? Good. So this is perfect. So she multiplied that times that. And that's it. So we find the bottom layer, step 1, multiply it by 1, so it's now cubed then, and then multiply it by how tall the thing is. Okay, second one. So they want us to find the volume of this figure. So step 1, if we do this base, is it the same all the way up? And it's not, because we have this chunk. So we got to lay it on its side. So I'm going to take this piece, okay, flop it on its side. So if it's a little blurry for you, if it's hard to see, this is 60. This is 60. This is 80. This is 40. And that's 10. Okay, so this piece right here is 10. Okay, so let's find our bottom base. Cut it apart right there. So I'm going to do this piece, and then we'll do this piece up here. So we know this is 80. I need to know how tall this is. Well, if this whole thing is 60, and this little piece is 40, that means this piece has to be, yep, 20. So let's do 80 times 20. Fast math, 8 times 2. Yep, 16 plus the 2 zeros. Okay, now we've got to add that to this up here. So we know this is 40 on this side. What's this little piece right here? Well, if this whole thing is 80 and this little piece is 60, that means I have 20 left over. So I need to do 20 times 40, which should give us 800. And now let's add those two together. We get 2,400, this is millimeters. We get 2,400 millimeters squared. Now it's squared because remember this is flat so far. Now let's multiply it by 1 to give it volume. So if we multiply it by 1, we now have 2,400 millimeters cubed. So that's this bottom piece in red. How tall is it then? Since we flipped it over on the side, can somebody tell me how tall it is? Yep, it's right here. It's 10 millimeters tall. So we're going to take that 2,400, and I'll move this up a little bit. We're going to take this 2,400 and multiply it by 10. Which means add another 0. So we have 24,000 millimeters cubed. Okay, so step 1, find your bottom, which you might have to flop the figure over, because we want the height, okay, to be the same for the whole thing. If I do the height here, this is 60, but this is only 20, that wouldn't work. So the bottom over here can't be my bottom. This side facing us has to be the bottom. Okay, let's do one more. At least one more. Okay, so it says find the volume of this figure. Now, this one should be obvious. We can't find the bottom of this because it goes up here, but there's nothing over here. So we're going to flop this thing down on its side. So this, okay, that right there is going to be our bottom. So we have 2 here. We have 5 there. So we have 5 times 2. And then for this piece up here, we have 7 and we have 2. Okay, so take a moment, get me the bottom layer. Okay, so you should have 10 and 14. So you should have 24 centimeters squared. We multiply it by 1. So we now have 24 centimeters cubed. Because we're doing 1 inch thick. But I want to know what the whole thing is. And this is how many thick? That's 2 centimeters. So we're going to take the 24 and multiply it by 2. So we get 48 centimeters cubed. Questions? Okay. Now it's your turn. So I want you to do the same thing, find the volume for this. Do step 1 and step 2. Okay, if in case it's a little fuzzy, this is 7 centimeters. This is 3 centimeters right here. This is 8 centimeters. This is 4 centimeters. And then this long one over here is 10 centimeters. Okay, so figure that out. We'll pause. Okay, so hopefully you had enough time. I am hoping when you pause this, you took this as your flat base. You flipped it over, so this became the bottom of it. And then that was my height. So let's take a look. So you should have done 8 times 4, which was this piece right here. Then you should have done 3 times 3, which is this piece right here. And you should have gotten 41 centimeters squared. Now remember, when we multiply it by 1 is where it cubes it. But now we take the 41, okay, and we multiply it by 10, and it gives us 410 centimeters cubed. So I didn't put that step in there because we just do it. You don't have to put it in. 1 times the 41 centimeters, okay, which squared, which then gives me 41 centimeters cubed. But you understand, we're taking the area of the base and we're multiplying it by the height. So find the area of the base, 2 dimensions, multiply it by the height. Okay, that's it. That's all we got. Have a good week. We'll talk to you later.